exactly for the purpose of bringing people together, helping us be better men in business, in mind, and in spirit in all areas of our life, that we can show up as better husbands, as better fathers, as better leaders. Because I know that each of us get up every single day, we put our feet on the ground, and we desire to be better than the day before. And so this is the group that we can all come together. We're the average of who we show up with and hang out with the most. And so I'm proud to be the average of many of you that I'm seeing faces just on one side of my screen. Dr. Ben Loeb, Jason Harris, and Tobe and Benedict, who are popping up on my screen right now. People that I'm grateful to call friends and chosen family. So today, I get the honor of hosting and introducing Dr. Joe Chang. And Joe is to me is an enigma. I mean, I have never met any scientist like Dr. Joe Chang. I remember from the very beginning when he stepped on stage, and I was like, okay, time to get some coffee. Nope, got a shot or injection of humor and science and relevance by a man that has a really incredible gift of delivering information from stage, crafting a story, making it relatable. And I'd like to think we, in the beginning, dumbing it down to a wakeboarder's level for me when I started, 21 years ago. And so Dr. Joe Chang has been and was appointed to the Chief Scientific Officer and Executive Vice President of Product Development in 2006. He currently sits as the chairman of NuSkin Scientific Advisory Board, and is the known and best-selling author of the New York Times best-selling author of The Aging Myth, which he may talk about the next generation of that book. And Joe is definitely very much considered the father of the anti-aging movement here. And so as we press forward in this Prism direction of what we're doing, Joe has been a large stakeholder in this. We're where we are today because of his foundation of what he's done with Pharmanex, with his partner Michael Chang, and one of their early investors, Carl Gerasi. And Dr. Joe, I love your background there in the Innovation Center. Thank you for being just this, the example that we could lean into and utilize for the success of growing our business. You're an incredible resource and a talent that we're proud to have here at NuSkin. So looking forward to hearing the Pharmanex story, your story, and what brings us here today. And so Dr. Joe Chang, I will toss it over to you.
Thanks, Charlie, and hi, everybody. That's great. I was actually joined you guys last week as well. So it's such a great, fun group together. And Charlie, am I able to share my screen from my end, or do you
Absolutely. Oh, yeah, I'll make you co-host right now, and you'll be able to. Well, I'm not actually able. I think you're able to right now, right?
I think I might be able. So let me. Yeah.
There you are. You're good.
My share came up. Let me bring. Can you see what I have?
Yes, sir. If you want to just put it in play mode, so it is larger on the screen, that'd be great, and we can see it well.
Yeah, great. So anyway, so like I said, good morning, everyone. And some of you may actually not be in the US, I guess. So it might be good afternoon in Europe and so on. It's an interesting time right now. And I was thinking, we have known each other for many, many years. And Charlie has already mentioned, I've known Charlie for when he was still in high school, maybe, but clearly over 20 years. So I was thinking what I'm going to talk to you about, today and so on. And it was really useful last week when I joined that conversation. And I had Ryan chiming in and telling you what we're doing here and what this Prism IO is all about. I'm hoping that some of the words that he used, I'm hoping it resonates with you because it's more than just about the product, okay? Prism IO is not the launch of a new product. And it's not even the launch of a new sales aid, whatever it is. We've launched many, many new products, and oftentimes we make that particular new product the greatest, the shiniest penny that we put out, and the greatest instant sliced bread, and so on. And then it comes out like a comet, and it flashes in the sky, and oftentimes it may disappear, and we move on to another new product. So there are quite a few products we've launched over the years, and they're all great, and so on and so forth. But I'm hoping, because there are some comments being made that, hey, wait a minute, there are way too many products, and I don't know. I mean, every time you're perhaps whiplashing us in the field, and so on. And what is really the current theme in NuSkin and so on? So after listening to all that and sort of mulling over it, I'm going to sort of maybe describe this Prism IO in an entire based on an entirely new perspective. In fact, I'm going to go back to my days when I co-founded Pharmanex and really say, how are we going to raise money? It's a ground up opportunity, right? Pharmanex, we started a company, zero revenue, no sales, whatever. We've got to get the money from investors, if you will, to get the company going. So, what is Pharmanex all about? I have to literally explain, what the Pharmanex is, what the future is, and that it is the basis of a new company, and it has the ability to sustain itself. It's not going to be just one new product, and that's it. A flash in the sky, as I mentioned about a comet. So I'm going to sort of talk to you that way from that particular perspective, because I'm really asking you guys. You're almost like investors to me. The way I'm looking at this particular conversation, right? Instead of asking you for money, because I believe we are at a stage now. I have this new technology that we have put under the name PSIO or Prism IO that I think has the basis of another revolution. Okay, it's just not a new product. And what I need is to describe to you and to convince you, if you will, that you need to invest now. Okay, instead of money from venture capitalists and so on, I'm asking that all of you will have to invest your blood, sweat, and tears to really get this going. That's what NuSkin is all about, right? So Charlie has mentioned to you, way back in 1995, 96, we started together with Michael Chang, my colleague, no relationship, a company called Pharmanex. Sort of interesting, Pharmanex. At that time, I already mentioned there's a startup company. You may have heard this story. I said, how did we come up with this name? I mean, there was no marketing dollars to be had for us to go out and get some fancy marketing company or agency to come up with a name for this new company. So we just Mike and I, we came from the pharmaceutical industry. And we have learned a lot from the pharmaceutical industry, how to use science and how to discover new drugs and so on. Personally, I was involved together with my R&D team at Wyeth to discover three, fairly significant drugs. One for transplant, one for arthritis, and another one for asthma. Okay, so it was pretty good in that sense. But one of the most important things that we learn from the pharmaceutical industry is that we got to know what we are developing based on evidence, based on scientific data. Okay, so with that background, and when we started Pharmanex back in 1994, we told our investors, raising the money, that fundamentally Pharmanex is going to be a science-driven nutritional supplement company. At that point in time, that was never the narrative. Most supplement companies, frankly, at that time were selling snake oil because no idea what it's just a wet finger in the air trying to figure out, that these products that they're launching are great, and they'll say it, they'll make the claim, but practically zero evidence to either substantiate it or back it up, right? So we thought instead of looking at that, I said, frankly, do I really want to go into that kind of industry and develop products? We look at it as an opportunity, right? And that is that why do we look at it that if we truly create meaningful products via scientific studies and so on, that base it on data, that we essentially could have a basis of a great company in this industry. That's how Pharmanex. Fundamentally, that was a story. And the specific, what I would call the enabling technology or platform that we use to support the narrative was what we now call the 6S process, right? Every step, 6S is really just a simple name to describe the 6 steps that we use to develop our products. And each step is entirely dependent on getting data to satisfy that step before we move on to the next, and so on and so forth, right? So it's a platform that is the cornerstone in Pharmanex. It's not just one incredibly great product, but it's a platform that has the potential to produce many, many products. And that's what attracted the funds and investments into Pharmanex. And we raised close to $38 million, But fundamentally, whatever we say, all the things that we say in Pharmanex and so on, we say we're science-based, and this is how we accomplish that, and uniquely would be through this success process. And here are some of the products we have produced, right? And we got them in 28,000 stores. It's great. It's so on and so forth. And we were profitable. We launched our products, what was it, 1997, early 1997. And then a couple of years later, we got rather well known, and NuSkin came calling. And again, that was the narrative we mentioned, NuSkin. And NuSkin began to understand. It's sort of interesting. Initially, when they came and visited with us, we were in Los Angeles at that time, in Simi Valley particularly, and they came from Utah. We were rather surprised there is such a company as NuSkin in Utah, frankly. Back in 1997 and so on, I actually have never visited Utah. But they came, and they were interested in one particular product, and that product, many of you, if not all of you, would have been very familiar with it, and that is a product called colistin. Yeah. So NuSkin at that point in time, when he heard about colistin, was rather interested in introducing that product into the world of NuSkin. So they came and visited with that intent. But as they listened to this narrative, that I just mentioned to you, it was an almost identical narrative I was telling them at that point in time. They're beginning to see the vision is bigger. It's not just as colistin was a manifestation of that technology, but it's not the only thing. All right? It's not the end all and be all, and that's it. That they could see the vision of potential new innovative products in aging and so on coming through. All right. And in addition to that, they also saw the same technology could be applied to the skin product, the beauty products they already have. at that point in time, and they can expand that, you know. So it was a good synergy in that sense. That's the potential, and that's why they were willing to pay close to $138 million in 1998 to acquire Pharmanex, right? So what is it now? More than 20 years? What was it? Oh, 1988, more than 25 years. Now I've been close to that. Been with NuSkin, and it illustrates. I mean, immediately the question is, gee, you know, you've typically what happens is when you sell a company, you tend to stay for a few years at most, and you depart. But the question then becomes, why? You know, why am I still around? And frankly, I I still ask myself that question, frankly. But I think at the point in time, it's still a lot of things. I too share that vision of potential from the scientific side, and I know I can realize that potential because NuSkin continues to demonstrate the commitment that they say that they want to innovate and they want to make sure that the field, that our partners in the field and so on are always going to have an incredible opportunity to build a business. They don't just say it; they do what they say, and that's what kept me from my personal perspective in NuSkin. It's a company that keeps its promise, if you will. So that's really how I landed myself in NuSkin, and it's an interesting one. And over the years, right? So let me bring some clarity to what I'm talking about in terms of what the NuSkin opportunity is from my perspective, right? Many of you know back when the days, the founders, Blake, Steve, Sandy, you know, all these folks, when they came together, what is really the story? You know, what is really backing up and saying, what is the NuSkin, what is the NuSkin company all about? It is about all of the good, none of the bad. Very simple. Fundamentally, it comes to that every time. Every product, it is about all of the good, none of the bad, right? And then Pharmanex acquisition created another, you know, almost just not a refreshing of the opportunity, but is an how should I put it, a transformative change in the opportunity. And now we include the narrative that all our products are science-based and all our products are substantiated when we make the claims. There are no ifs or buts. You know, there's always going to be, when we have a product, it's consistent, and these products, based on evidence, not based on a belief, based on evidence, will never ever embarrass you, regardless of where you're coming from, whether from the skin perspective or whether from the nutrition perspective. These products are produced exactly the same. Okay? They're measured and developed by the success process. That's an opportunity. That's really what Pharmanex was all about. And then the third opportunity that came on, and this is what Charlie is talking about, really, about the scanner. That was roughly what 2003? Yeah, 20 years ago, they're about 2003 when we first launched the first scanner. What are we really saying? Why was it so compelling, if you will, as a narrative, right? Yeah, why? It really comes down to the fact this is the first time ever we had NuSkin introduce a technology that literally can tell you whether your supplements, the antioxidants, if you will, actually enter your body and work. All right? It's about measuring antioxidants, not invasively, not in a hospital setting, not in a sophisticated lab, but you, as the user, you in real time, you're able to see, you know, no ifs or buts. You can literally see, you know, what happens when you take a supplement from NuSkin. That was an opportunity. That was the opportunity. my perspective, I'm relaying that. I'm trying to distill everything, how was that really sort of hit the ground and got traction and so on for all of you and so on. I think it's a fairly persuasive, and once again, it's not a myth. It's something that you can do. And then obviously several years later and so on and so forth on the skin side, we introduced quite a few of the devices, and before you know it, each and every one of them contributes to our claim now that we are the #1 beauty device company in beauty. Not just in our channel, but the whole channel, the beauty channel. So it's interesting. The technology there is about manipulating the skin. One of the few organs that you can literally touch from the outside. It is part of the body, but you can definitely manipulate it, and skin is very responsive when you can manipulate it with certain devices. Yeah. So that's really gave another opportunity to in the world of NuSkin. So you can see there's a bill, right? And I'm hoping you can see these things, at least from the creation of an innovative technology, they are linked, or they're somewhat connected to each other. If we haven't committed to doing science, I think none of this would have happened, because we won't have the data that we can analyze and ask the question. We would be imagining things. We are imagining here based on data that we have introduced before, all the things that we've done. And now we have reached a stage where I believe, and this is where, when I talk about Prysm IO, what am I really saying? Yes. I'm talking antioxidants, but I'm not talking antioxidants alone now. We have 20 years worth of antioxidant data, measurement data from the BioPhotonic Scanner. That is not going to waste. That had so much content and valuable information that it has allowed us to use that information via AI and machine learning to come up with this new device that would generate an end result that is antioxidant, but is more than that. And frankly, that more than that is related to nutritional status or nutritional health. Let me ask you this, frankly. I'll play a bit of devil's advocate on my own. When you get onto an elevator and you say, "Oh yeah, I have this fancy antioxidant scanner, and we can tell you in a few minutes, non-invasively, what your antioxidant score is." Charlie can explain that, because Charlie has 20 years of background, and there are lots of folks out there that can be able to say, but for a new person, and this is what we are all about at NuSkin, right? We got to expand our channel. And that is that if to a new person, you literally have to climb that hill and explain what antioxidants do in the body. I flip that script. Prysm IO is now being able, because we're now being able to say, hey, do you really know what your nutritional health status is, or your health span status is? That has meaning to everybody. That has way more ability to get that person to somewhat chat with you and converse with you and discuss with you, right? And overall, how did you manage to get that? Well, we have developed the first non-invasive biohacking device. What is biohacking? No different that we can peer into your body with higher resolution than before. Every step to understand the body requires, okay, if you want to see, you want to sort of help the body more, and in this case, we're talking about nutrition here in that sense, and that the health side is very important because nutrition and via this is the only way the body can heal. I'm not talking treatment. I'm not talking prevention. I'm talking about the body ability to heal, and that is directly related to nutritional status. All right. So, and therefore, that's what biohacking is. We are now being able to biohack more accurately, more precisely because of Prysm.io. So, Charlie alluded to the fact that, this book was published once again, I think, oh my goodness, when was that? 2015, a couple of years after? Yeah, together with the other age lock technology, actually. There's also another opportunity that we created. So I'm in the process of putting together the latest science, if you will. And again, it's not just our science, but other scientific discoveries from different labs around the world and so on. And I think it will now focus on, if you go back and check out the Aging Myth, the book, essentially it describes the genetic basis of aging. Or it might in that sense, right? It's about these youth gene clusters. It's about these genes, how they are doing either regulated, in all the various tissues, and then it expresses itself, and we can measure that expression / activity via this biochip, gene chip, right? That's the technology that we use in HLOC and be able to discover the genetic sources of aging. Insofar as the same analogy with antioxidants, genetic expression is great, it sounds great, but there's a need for it to be translated, to something functional. And that's why this new edition, this book that I'm putting together, if you will take that step. We'll be translating all the genomic gene expression evidence and all that relating to aging, and translating that to some functional changes. So it will be what with the overall nutrigenomics, and it's how we lead ourselves into the development of HLOC products and so on. So technically we call it translating genotype to phenotype. That's way more meaningful, and it's all related to metabolic health, the microbiome, and so on, and mental wellness that many of you have experience with Mind 360, the rationale behind those products. And there's method to the madness. I say they're not disconnected. These are all the products that we've launched now and in the future. They all have a strategic fit with each other, okay? And then finally, I will be describing we need to measure. And Prysm.io is the introduction, the tip of the spear, if you will, into this new world of biohacking that never has been able to be conducted or achieved before. That's the platform. So it's very similar, right? I mean, I'll give you an analogy if it's a bit too much. We all know what a telescope is, and it's very relevant to Prysm because Prysm, BioPhotonic Scanner, they're all light technology, if you will, or technology that's able to use light as a scalpel, right? The telescope is the same thing. I mean, without the telescope, Galileo would not have been able to discover we revolve around the sun. It's an enabling technology to look at the sky and be able to understand certain things about space. It's space hacking in a way. right? The challenge is the telescope can never break through the Earth's atmosphere. The pictures, the photographs of space that are brought back or taken by even the most sophisticated telescope on Earth, like the one on top of Los Angeles, is that a Getty or the Paloma telescope and so on? That's why they put it in all the desert cities or desert areas, right? Because there's less pollution, light pollution, and all the other type of atmosphere pollution. So it can never break through that, even in the best place on Earth. The breakthrough, and they got higher resolution and be able to space hack in more clarity, if you will, and see what galaxies and stars are all about, is the launch of the Hubble telescope on the right. Right? You can't take the picture of that particular exploding star with the most sophisticated telescope on Earth, because the Hubble telescope has escaped from atmospheric pollution. All right. And that's where I see our scanner is going. And that's why I'm able to translate, because I've taken everything I've learned from the BioPhotonic Scanner up to this point, creating what we now collectively call the Raman database, how people are scoring via their lifestyle factors, what diets they're eating, and so on and so forth. And collectively, based on that, we input it into our AI algorithm and help us to bring a higher clarity to what we are actually measuring. Yes, it's still the carotenoids, but it means more. The clarity that we see on that particular carotenoid score is it actually means nutritional status. And it's validated. It's not just us alone. Other people, measuring carotenoids by their blood and so on and so forth, the other have also concluded that it is a really good biomarker of nutritional status. Okay. It's not just, frankly, if you want to tell the antioxidant, great, but it's not the antioxidant story anymore. It has gone to the next level. This is the Hubble telescope. It's not an earthbound telescope. All right? So it's a transformation. So, frankly, when I look at what we have done over the last 20 years, we got the scanner smaller and smaller and smaller. This is the latest one, S3. But at the end of the day, they all measure the same thing, right? Antioxidant. We make it more user-friendly, we make it more reproducible, and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, it's still measuring the same thing. But with the Prism IO, it's measuring the same thing, but we are able to translate what that end product tells us about nutritional health. It has functionality. It has meaning. I have, in a way, hoping to let you know we have flipped the narrative insofar as giving meaning to something first and then telling and then follow on with how we achieve that meaning, rather than just telling the how first and then say, oh, it does mean something. No, that's really the Prism. That's not. I don't think we've done anything insofar as being able to take it to the next level. All right. So, and these are the scientific data that we get typically, right? Over a period, it's just a simple study over 12 weeks, and we measure it. And this is now done with Prism IO, and you can see it's a very good dose-related event. It keeps going up and increase on the score and so on. So it's behaving what we think. I already mentioned, right? It's not just we saying that it could be a very good nutritional status biomarker, what we are measuring. This is a review. In fact, more than a review, is a editorial or summary of a whole symposium on carotenoids as markers of dietary exposure and nutritional status. So it's well validated. So I'm coming back to this now. Once upon a time, we said, do you know whether your supplements work? Now, I've made the question, hopefully, a little bit more profound and more powerful. And that is, do you know your nutritional health? That's what I'm answering in a sentence with Prism.io. Right? And the reason, and that's what it does. And it's light, it's reflecting the light. And the technology that we now have, which is different from the light technology we use in the BioPhotonic Scanner, we have succeeded in developing this Prism.io or a puck in the sense that depending on how we wish to tune the light wavelength, we can measure other things as well going forward in the future. That's the potential. That's why it's a platform. And when you dock it, if you will, into whether iPad or an iPhone, you'll be able to get a lot more information, all right, coming out, because your information on the measurement is stored, and once you dock, it uploads, and you can then bring up all kinds of information that you can use, and that's going to be useful for your, not just on the product things, but also useful on the business side of things as well. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting insofar as this AI, we keep on talking about AI, but AI doesn't happen if you don't have a good and accurate database. You can't copy this particular technology if you don't have the Raman database, for example. That's what feeding our AI algorithm, and other scientific study data that we have that we can input. So AI sounds good, but without data, it won't work. I mean, you can see, right? I mean, even it's called artificial intelligence, right? Or machine intelligence, so on. For us humans, as soon as we are born, how come we're not clever? How come we already have a brain, right? So we should be instantly smart, but we still have to go to school. Why do we go to school, and why do we go everywhere? And over the years, fundamentally, what you're doing, you're learning. You're getting data in. Same with a computer. Garbage in, garbage out. So you have to get the data. Without data, AI doesn't operate. So when we come to that, I mentioned a lot about this Raman, the critical contribution from the Raman database, right? 25 million scan points we have, right? Not just scan points, but how the scan point and the individual information as well, weight, height, and so on. We input it into this AI with ML engine in NuSkin that has been built into the Prysm.io, and then it shoots out using the special technology, the spectral exhaustion technology, where we can split light into different wavelengths to then analyze the measurement from a person, right? And on the user-friendly side, this isn't, we don't go to the palm anymore, just a finger. And very portable, this particular machine. So we have satisfied the business requirements, if you will, of introducing a technology that is now can be broadly applied or broadly used. And I'm hoping we have check off all the boxes on this one. So I'm coming back to this nutritional health, right? And the reason why this is important is because it obviates and it reduces the distraction and confusing accusation or allegation about NuSkin that we're bringing out too many products. This nutritional health is almost like this is an anchoring technology from the Prysm IO, where every community in our world, regardless of whether you're on the skin side or on the nutrition side or whatever products that you are interested and have been building your business on, it's all inclusive. All right. That's what nutritional health is all about. Frankly, maybe, it's not just about nutritional health, because in the future, we can also say it's beauty and nutritional health too. That has that potential going forward. See, it's all inclusive now. So I'm hoping you see, there is method to our madness. This is the strategy. This is from the product side of things. This is our platform. It's a sustainable platform. It's an enabling one. This is how. If I'm pitching this right to an investor, I'm hoping they can see, okay, that's the potential. So what have we brought? Biohacking. We have created a technology. There's a biohacking technology. This is a tip of the spear. I'll use that again. And it's truly intelligent because of our Raman database and other things that are proprietary to NuSkin. And we can biohack beauty and wellness going forward. And people say, wait. People have said that before. Yes, but nobody has been able to say they can biohack, all right, with clarity and non-invasively in real time, because you're measuring it, and this particular unit measures with what? I think 30 seconds. It's already fantastic at 60 seconds with the S3, but now we're doing it at 30 seconds, right? In real time, you're able to go and do that. And it's not just an issue that we identify without a solution, and those are the array of products we already have. It brings them all together. This is our universe, right? In a way, I will go back to my space analogy again, if you will. This is our universe, and they all are connected. Regardless of whether you're on in certain markets, focus on Tiami. No distraction, no whiplash. This is what we do. So, some of the questions I've been asking myself, and I'm hoping, that's really in terms of how I describe Prysm IO. I've done that, but really, I'll come back to the question. I hope I've given you, right, an understanding that Prysm IO is not just a product. It's the beginning of enabling platform. It's a platform opportunity. We will continue to fill it out over time. It's not a spike in our world. It is what we are going to do in the future. Any new product coming through, is related to, like I say, for example, nutritional health. It's nothing to do with antioxidants in that sense, but it's nutritional health. It's inclusive. It is inclusive antioxidant, but it's not just antioxidants. Is Prysm IO unique? I hope I have answered the question. People say, some other competitor could well make it. Yeah, the device itself, they can make it, but they don't have the database to make it clever. Big difference, I hope. Right? You can't drive. You can, you can. Yeah, it's just, you can't drive it without the database, frankly. So how is Prysm IO different? S3, hopefully I've answered the question as well. Yeah, it's different. It depends, obviously, on the S3 or the BioPhotonic Scanner. but it builds on the biophotonic scanner. It's not a been there, done that, incremental improvement. So products, pad, you can see, yeah, and sometimes, I mean, it's sort of interesting. Some of the products, I mean, again, this somewhat confirms or corroborates my statement that there are products in our line now that, especially on Mind 360, where there aren't any antioxidants in a way, or even carotenoid antioxidant, and yet they score well. You know. The launch of the Prysm IO, I believe, and don't kill me if I'm wrong, but I think it's going to be like the third quarter with a limited launch of it and so on. And there's some qualifications that will answer to get early preview access. There's something that the business folks, like Justin and so on, they have to figure out because of the limited supply, how you're going to get it this year, but definitely early next year. The number of Prysm IO will increase quite substantially. Okay, so yeah, this say no more. This is the market we are entering, and I mean it's not a small one. And clearly, I think if you have the ability to help all your folks to biohack with much better clarity with Prysm IO, don't you think we have a great chance of building a great business in this world? I think that's all I have. Oh, okay. So in a way, I'll just leave you this teaser. Yeah, what I've described is really, in a way, just the top of this iceberg, right? The rest is stay tuned. All right, but the rest won't happen if all of you on this call, if you will, you are leaders and you have been with NuSkin a long time. If you don't take and help to sort of narrate this story and take it to the next level, I think then the rest of the iceberg is not quite sure when we'll be able to get it visible. So that's it. Thank you.
Dr. Joe Chang, incredible. I love the background. I'm taking notes here on
Yeah,
information that